The FNX 45 Tactical and the FN 545 Tactical, to me, are the best polymer frame handguns chambered in 45 on the market, hands down. I could also make the argument that these two guns are better even than the 1911, but we can do that another day. What I want to answer today is something that I've been avoiding for a long time now. Which one is the best between the best? The FNX 45 Tactical or the FN 545 Tactical?
Let me start by saying that I can't trust a man or a woman who says they don't care about how guns look.
Hey, you, come here. Yeah, you, come here. The person getting ready to type some goofy shit like,
wrong. The only thing that matters is how my gun shoots.
Or some depressing variation of the same shit. Take your fingers off the keyboard because we all know what you're about to type is a lie. I know it, your mama knows it, the world knows it. Everybody, to some extent, cares about how a gun looks. So stop lying.
I'm not saying looks are the most important thing, but when you spend most of your time looking at your guns than you do actually shooting them, looks are important. And trust me, most people spend more time looking at their guns than they do shooting them. That's just the nature of the beast. I've had an FNX 45 Tactical for so long that compared to the FN 545 Tactical, the FNX looks a little dated to me, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the Corvette C7 looks dated compared to the C8 Corvette, but I still prefer the looks of the C7 over the C8. When it comes to these two guns, I love the beefy, unapologetic proportions of the FNX.
When the FNX 45 Tactical first came out, it was the highest capacity polymer frame gun chambered in 45. And you could easily tell that by the size of the grip. The grip was huge.
Huge.
But at the same time, for a lot of people, they kind of liked it because if you had biggish hands, it was something that you liked. But it did feel like a block. It felt a little less refined in the ergonomics department and just felt like we were gonna figure out a way to stuff as many rounds in this gun as possible. Now, the grip texturing on this gun is actually really, really good. It's a very aggressive grip texture. But for someone like me who has hobbitish style hands, it did feel a little big.
So it felt big in your hands.
Ignoring Peter, now the FN 545 Tactical is a bit more refined in the ergonomic department. As you can see here, it's a little less blocky and more ovally. The grip texture is relatively the same, but they've kind of changed it up with the patterns back here, and you still have the same capacity as the FNX 45 Tactical. This just feels a little bit more updated in terms of the ergonomics on the gun, and because I have my hobbitish style hands, this just feels better to me in hand than the FNX 45 Tactical. So if I had to pick between the two just purely based on ergonomics, I'm gonna have to go with the FN 545 Tactical because it just feels less blocky and a little bit rounder, and just as a result, feels more comfortable in my hand while still giving me the aggressive grip texture to allow me to control the gun the same. Come here, again. Don't worry, you're not in trouble this time. I just want to talk to you about these, my favorite hearing protection, the AKT1 Blackouts. I love these things because they are essentially AirPods, except they actually protect your hearing. See, AirPods don't actually protect your hearing from gunshots. These do. So I can take phone calls, I can listen to music. They have a 6-time hearing enhancement so I can hear everything that's going on around me, while at the same time, it will block any noises that exceed hearing safe levels while you still can hear everything else going on. So, if you want to step up your hearing protection game, I'm gonna put a link in the description section to the AKT1 Blackouts. I sell them on my site at shop.mrcolionnoir.com because I love them so much. Now, go ahead and finish the video. Then after that, click the link in the trim section.
All the ammo used in this video was brought to you by Nosler, maker of the most innovative, most accurate, and most effective bullets and ammunition in the industry. Both of these guns are tactical versions, so they share a lot of the same features, like a threaded barrel, suppressor height night sights, cutout for red dots, ambidextrous controls, interchangeable back straps with lanyard eyelets, and a 1913 accessory mounting rail. But there are 3 features that make these very different guns: the way the guns operate, the safeties, and the capacity. Now is where things get juicy. The operation on the FNX is a double action, single action with an exposed hammer, and the 545 operation is a double action striker fire. Think manual transmission versus automatic. As for safeties, the FNX has ambidextrous frame-mounted safeties that also double as a decocker, and the 545 has no safeties, unless you count the trigger safety, which I don't. And last but certainly not least, the FNX comes with 15-round magazines, but the 545 comes with a 15-round magazine and an 18-round magazine. You can find aftermarket 20-round magazines for the FNX, but I've never used them, so I can't vouch for the quality of the reliability of any of these magazines. The FNX clearly has more features technically because it's a double action, single action hammer fired gun with a frame mounted safety. Some people are diehard fans of this type of operation. I'm not one of those people. I'm in the middle. As a gun that will likely spend most of its time laying on a nightstand, I like the frame mounted safety for no other reason than it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside from a safety standpoint. Problem is, I hate the heavy double action pull of double action, single action gun, but I can also keep it cocked and locked to get around the double action pull. The fact that the FNX gives you these options, it wins the feature category for me. Right up until I remember that the 545 comes with an 18-round magazine. And then my inner homosexual kicks in and those 3 extra rounds overshadow whatever options the FNX may give me. When it comes to how this gun shoots, they're very different. The FNX Tactical recoils how I imagine a trophy truck feels like to drive. Bouncy but predictable. Where the 545 Tactical recoils more like the suspension on a sports car, firm and tight but fast. The trigger on the FNX 45 Tactical is one of the smoothest triggers I've ever felt, in double action and in single action. But that double action pull is long and heavy. The 545 Tactical trigger compared to the FNX 45 Tactical feels like sandpaper, but it's short and quick, even compared to the FNX 45 Tactical in single action mode. The 545 Tactical shoots faster, but the FNX 45 Tactical perceptively absorbs recoil better, but has a little more muzzle rise. The FNX 45 Tactical is more fun to shoot, but if I knew I was going to have to defend myself with a gun tomorrow, and I need to be my best shooting-wise, I'm taking the 545 Tactical. Now, if I want to go out and have a good time chucking big 45 bullets at targets, I'm taking the FNX 45 Tactical. Keep in mind, I'm splitting hairs here. I feel confident with both of them.
All right, let's talk concealed carry. Honestly, in all my years of owning the FNX 45 Tactical, at no point in my ownership did I ever think I want to conceal carry this gun. It's just too big in all of the wrong ways. It's too fat, it's too heavy, it's too wide, it's too long. It just doesn't work, at least for me. Now, as far as the FN 545 Tactical, I would actually consider carrying this gun because when you really think about it, let's break down the stats real quick. So from a size standpoint, the 545 is 0.13 inches thinner, it's 0.5 inches shorter, it's 0.59 inches shorter barrel, and weighs 2.3 ounces less than the FNX 45 Tactical, which may not sound like a lot, but when you think about all of this is supposed to be taking place in your pants, that makes a big difference. And then bring in the fact that everything about the 545 Tactical is massaged and rounded off. You got the rounded off and massaged base plates. That's a little bit more rounder, more concurve, or whatever you want to call it. It just works better with forming to your body from a concealed carry standpoint than the FNX 45 Tactical. Now, can you conceal carry the FNX 45 Tactical? Yeah, I'm sure there are people who do it. But for me, if I had to choose between the two, I'm easily, all day, every day, gonna go with the FN 545 Tactical.
When we talk about price, the FN 545 has an MSRP of $1139, and the FNX Tactical has an MSRP of $1379. However, if you do some digging, you can find both of them for about $999. So the price point here is kind of a wash. Both of these guns are high quality guns, but to me, the 545 feels more refined and slightly higher quality than the FNX. Going back to my Corvette analogy, I prefer the looks of the C7 over the C8, but I prefer the interior of the C8 over the C7 because it's more modern with higher quality material. The FNX is 12 years old, where the 545 came out last year. So it only makes sense that FN improved the fit and finish of the 545 compared to the FNX. And it's obvious if you're honest with yourself, the gun literally feels tighter. The design of the magazine base plate looks and feels higher quality. And let's just call a spade a spade. The 545 is a higher quality product if you like minimalism and refinement. But being more refined doesn't always mean better. Sometimes refinement can feel cold and boring. I love the Herman Miller chair I'm sitting on right now with all of its ergonomic refinement. But I often find myself writing a lot of my video scripts on my big, comfortable leather sectional that I've had for eons. That's the FNX Tactical, a big, dumb, fun gun with a ton of character, looking to put a smile on your face. And the 545 is a refined, serious, high-quality gun that's entirely focused on being a great shooting gun. To put it another way, using Hobbs and Shaw as an example, Hobbs would love the FNX 45 Tactical, and Shaw would love the FN 545 Tactical, and Brixton Lore would dual wield both of them. However, if I had to choose one, I'm taking the 545 Tactical, but I've always been a sucker for refinement. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you, and we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.